Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome today to a whiskey review. We're going to review the Laphroaig An Cuan Mor. Now, this is one of the travel retail whiskies from Laphroaig, and it's part of my mini series into Laphroaig, but at the same time, even some of the travel retail expressions. So in the last video, well actually last two videos, we reviewed the QA Cask, which is the entry level. Then we reviewed the PX, and then finally this is going to be the An Cuan Mor, which is part of the trio of travel retail. And then after that, I'll go into the new travel retail whiskies that might be replacing all these. So, in terms of the An Cuan Mor, I've poured it out, let it sit for a little bit so I can breathe. And we're going to start off with the actual age. Now, it's a no-age statement whiskey, bottled at 48%. It's good to see a little bit of a higher ABV, especially in travel retail. In terms of the actual name on this whiskey, now, the name on this one doesn't reflect a wood type or a maturation. Its actual name means big ocean in An Cuan Mor. So, sadly, there is no big ocean cask, like the PX being a Pedro Jimenez and the QA being Querist Alba. So, this one is not related to a cask type. However, the cask maturation for this one, to what I've read, is first fill American white oak ex-bourbon barrels, and then it is finished off for a period of time in European oak. And this gives it a character to be the An Cuan Mor. Now, the actual distillery itself is the Laphroaig Distillery. They are owned by the parent company, Beam Suntory, and they are located on Islay, Scotland. Now, the price point. This is a bit of information that everyone wants to know about. Now, the price point of the full-size bottle is £78. And that was to my friend who just recently flew out. Kind of asked him, pick me out the different actual prices on these whiskies because I want to know exactly how to judge them. As I believe cost is one of those features which really decides whether sometimes we'll buy a whiskey. Not only just the flavour, but also price is a little factor involved. Now, in terms of exclusivity, yes, it is exclusive, as it's only available for travel retail, but I did see it yesterday in my whiskey shop, so maybe it's slowly trickling into domestic market. We don't know, but without further ado, let's get into the nose. Starting things out on the nose with this one, I'm getting that sort of classic Laphroaig peat, but it's almost got like lots of flavours going off on this one. It's got a little bit of that earthier undertones, giving you that little bit of a tart character, but it's a bit subdued, a bit mellowed out. I'm getting this almost like a black licorice, like you've had those fresh black licorice sweets. There is a little bit of sea spray in this one as well, and it's not as powerful as the QA. The QA I felt was too overpowering with these salty characters. This one is just like a soft, gentle sort of sea spray involved. That's actually probably why it's linked to the name An Cuan Mor, being big ocean. So, as long as it's not too salty. There is a really weird note in this one. And for me, it's like an onion. It's not like a spring onion. It's not grassy. But at the same time, it's not a red or a white onion where it's like for cooking. This is like you've sort of taken onions that before you're going to make a hot dog, you've caramelized onions. And this is what I'm picking out on the actual nose. It's very unusual. It's the first time I'm getting onions in a whiskey. And then I'm getting these soft spices coming through. A bit warming spices, some cloves, some black pepper, just soft, very gentle and very rounded and working itself very well together with this one. And there is a bit of citrus on this one. And I wanted to pinpoint it to one sort of citrus fruit, but it's floral, it's aromatic. It's almost like you've taken an orange blossom plant, a little bit of flower, and you can smell a little bit of these different characters coming off. But at the same time, a little bit of almost like you've taken the grind of maybe an orange or a grapefruit and you just rubbed your finger across and you sprayed it off into the atmosphere and you can smell that sweet citrus character. But at the same time, it holds itself quite well. That's about it for the nose. That was actually a lot. This is quite deep. So let's get into the palate next. Sláinte. So starting things now into the palate. Arrival onto the palate, it's quite got a nice viscosity about it. It's actually richer than the PX. I didn't think it was going to get a little bit more richer than that. This one's kind of like almost like an oily mouthfeel, almost oily coating all around the palate. In terms of flavour profile, you're not instantly hit with the peat, which I normally get on younger Laphroaigs. This feels a little aged to it. And you get the soft iodine character. Like I mentioned the sea spray before, it's back now on the palate, but it's not super intense. It's just like a little level up, giving it a bit of its character. Then you're getting some spices. That black pepper is there, crackle of black pepper, a little bit of 5-spice, and it's got these soft, fruitier undertone characters, but before you can sort of note them, it's almost like it's overlaid with that sort of smoky tar character. And then it's sort of just, you're getting this just mouth-watering feeling about drinking this whiskey. And I just want to take another sip. So I think we're going to get to the next sip and we'll come to our conclusion. Next up, into the finish for this whiskey. Its overall finish is not as long as I would have personally liked. I was really getting into this whiskey, but the finish feels a bit abrupt. It feels like it's interrupted. It's like a great moment and it's just been interrupted. And it finishes, I'd say, around about a medium finish to it in terms of length. Overall flavors, though, I'm getting this sort of salty character, and it's accompanied by a sweetness, but not a fruity sweetness. So I'm going to say a salted caramel to it. But overall, really, really good whiskey. In terms of my actual rating for this one, I'm going to give this one actually, a little second there to think about it. But I just had the flavor profile on this one is just so enjoyable, and you want to keep returning back to it. It's just the finish, the length of the finish pulls this one down in my personal books. And I definitely feel there's some older stock of whiskey in this one, or the maturation's just been done very, very well. In terms of the nose and the palate, very well. Lots of flavor, lots of depth, lots of structure, which I very rarely say about a whiskey sometimes. But it's got structure about it, and that's something I really enjoyed in this one. In terms of the actual finish, I feel that was where it let itself down, and it just fell apart a bit too abruptly for my liking. If it went a little bit longer, that would probably go higher, and I believe it or not, that is probably one of the top Laphroaigs I've tried, along with the Lore. But if you missed the Lore video, I'll leave that here. So, overall, I feel it really highlights those coastal characters, but at the same time not overpowering the palate, giving them quite a nice aspect, making them very palatable and very enjoyable, so to speak. So, value for money, if it is £78, I feel it's just about value for money. I'd say if it went down under 70, I'd snap that thing up before you can even look at it on the shelf, like I did the other day with the Macallan edition number 4. But value for money, if it's £70 and under, take it, as it is a very good whiskey. It's actually better than PX, in my opinion, when it comes to value for money and flavor profile. In terms of time, it doesn't really need it. This one can hold itself out quite well. In terms of water, it's completely optional to your liking, but this one is very well rounded. So I think it's a very good whiskey overall. 90 out of 100 is my rating. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you have tried this whiskey. But if you have enjoyed, again, drop it a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to leave the subscribe button over there and leave some other videos on screen. But this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video. Sláinte.